very good evening to you, wherever you may be watching. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimale here. Welcome on board, everyone. Let's get started this wonderful Friday. In what looks like a clash of policies or lack of consultation and agreement in the Buhari government, the Finance Minister, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, today disowned the decision of the Central Bank to redesign the Naira at the budget defense of the Ministry of Finance today. The minister says the Central Bank of Nigeria did not consult its fiscal authority before taking the decision to redesign the currency by December. Mrs. Ahmed at the press that event today with the lawmakers says the ministry was not consulted in that decision of giving the Naira a new face. The Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele has announced these at a press conference on Wednesday, where he said the new design and issues will be effective from mid-December 2022.
We're not consulted. It was an announcement that we heard. And I've seen,
you too, you just saw the press release like every other body.
Part of the reasons that was advocated is that's one of the ways to mop up liquidity to manage inflation. But there are also consequences that we're also looking at. What would the consequences be? There will be some benefits, but there will be some challenges. And I don't know whether the monetary authorities have actually looked very closely as to what the consequences are and then how they can be mitigated. So I still advise that you have that discussion with the monetary authorities. Not as the fiscal authority. Yeah. First of all, as a fiscal authority, we were not aware of it. It was an announcement. Secondly, I think that's one of the ways that they're trying to use to manage inflation. But there are consequences that also need to be considered and how to manage those consequences.
All right, there. I guess there will be a lot to talk about on that the statement of the minister, because if the CBN governor, who said, made reference and inference to the fact that there was consultation or speaking with the president, now the minister said there were no consultation with the fiscal authority on what is supposed to be a very major decision. But based on what Mr. Emefiele, the CBN governor, said, the notes to be redesigned include 200 Naira notes, 500 and 1,000 Naira note. And he has given several reasons for that decision, which includes that of security and mopping up some of these notes from the system to bring in the new notes. Well, tonight, two major issues confront us, which we are going to be engaging and tackling head on. One is the decision of a very major chieftain of the PDP, a former spokesperson of the PDP, Olisa Metuh, to have dumped the party. What are his reasons? I mean, it's in the middle of campaign, and he's supposed to be leading the party's campaign in the southeast region of the country. That looks like a blow to the major opposition party in Nigeria. What does this mean? We'll look into that. I will take you now to the south region of the country, in what looks like the popular saying, once bitten, twice shy. Is the APC in trouble yet again in the second election cycle back-to-back? You remember what happened to the APC in Rivers State in 2019, where they were not even on their ballot. The court has ruled and pulled out the candidate of the APC in the governorship election. Is it once bitten, twice shy? Or what exactly is the situation in Rivers? Before we get into all of that tonight, we'll check out some of your political roundup stories.
The Court of Appeal in Abuja has reversed the March 8 judgment of the Abuja Federal High Court, sacking Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi and his deputy Eric Kelechi Igwe for defecting from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. In a judgment today, a three-man panel of the appellate court, led by Justice Haruna Atsanami, held that the 1999 Constitution as amended does not provide any punishment for a governor or deputy governor who defects from the party on which platform they got to office. The appeal court, sitting in Jos, the Plateau State capital, has upheld the judgment of the Election Petitions Tribunal for the House of Representatives by-election, nullifying the election of Honorable Musa Aga, a member of the PDP representing Jos North, Bassa Federal Constituency in the National Assembly. The court has directed the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to issue certificate of return to the People's Redemption Party candidate, Mohammed Goni. The leadership of the People's Democratic Party is holding a sensitization workshop for the National Assembly, State House of Assembly, and governorship candidates in Abuja. The workshop, which is put together by the party's National Working Committee, as part of efforts by the PDP to help its candidates harmonize their thoughts as they go into the campaigns. The National Secretary of the PDP urges the candidates to network and pay attention to the specific needs of their people so that they can be addressed once they are elected into office.
Take note and ask for their one or two necessary needs that will make the community happy, that will make the world happy, that will make that federal constituency happy or that zone happy. Just take note.
One of the All Progressives Congress support groups, known as the Buni Gubana Women and Youth Network in Yobe State, is promising to work for the success of Tinubu Shetima ticket, as well as Governor Maimala Buni in the 2023 general election. The coordinator, Abuaka Kachala, stated this during the inauguration of the zonal coordinators of the group in Damaturu, the Yobe State capital.
Ours is not only to get votes for APC. Yobe is an APC state. Sure, we are going to get the vote for APC, but we want to get our vote in numbers.
A group under the umbrella of Arewa for Atiku says the victory of the presidential candidate of the PDP, Atiku Abubakar, in next year's presidential election will solve the security and economic problems facing the country. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the coordinator of the group, Mr. Falalu Fage, notes that Atiku is concerned about the pains and sufferings the APC administration has imposed on Nigerians in the last 7 years.
Lack of security is the worst thing that we are having in this nation. And that's why development or any other thing cannot be possible without security.
Ahead of the inauguration of the new administration in Osun State, the PDP Transition Committee says it has produced a workable blueprint to give direction to the governor-elect Ademola Adeleke. Chairman of the committee, Muyiwa Oladimeji, who stated this while presenting the document to the governor-elect, laments non-cooperative attitude of the administration of Governor Gbega Oyetola in giving detailed information regarding governors in the state. While commending the Transition Committee for its efforts, Senator Ademola Adeleke gave assurance of using the committee's report as a guide that will give his administration direction to the implementation of policies in his government.
I submit your report today. I will study it critically and ensure full implementation once we assume office.
And supporters of the Lagos for Lagos movement, a group founded by the Lagos State governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Abdulaziz Adediran, have defected to the All Progressives Congress, APC. The defectors, including leaders and coordinators of governorship campaign of the candidate of the PDP, Mr. Olajide Adediran, the defectors were...
If he's not able to respond, I will... that connection now.
And members of the State Executive Council at the party secretariat.
If you are going to the wrong place, and this guy says, my friend, why are you going north? You're supposed to go south. You must come back. So I welcome you all. But in welcoming you, I must tell you that you made the right decision.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's get to it, everyone. I'll take you to the South first and foremost before we get into very major issues in the People's Democratic Party. Well, there are immediate worries about the level of violence instead of security as we approach the 2023 elections. Let me tell you what happened today in Abuja with the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, who has been continuing with their consultations. And today, the chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, sought the support of civil society organizations in cleaning the nation's voter register. Professor Yakubu made the call during the commission's quarterly meeting with the CSO in Abuja today. Take a listen to what the INEC chairman said at that meeting today.
There must also be decisive action against negative mobilization incitement and violence during the electioneering campaign. It is exactly 1 month since the commencement of campaign by political parties on 28 September 2022. Yet, the incidence of physical attacks on supporters and destruction of campaign materials across the country is worrisome. At our consultative meeting 2 days ago, leaders of political parties in Nigeria also complained about the denial of access to public facilities and exorbitant charges in some states for the use of such facilities for the dissemination of their campaign materials, messages, and the conduct of rallies. These attacks and denials are a violation of the Electoral Act 2022, an ominous signs of what will follow as the campaigns enter critical stages.
The NSA has observed the violent dimensions of electioneering campaigns, which characterizes attacks on campaign rallies, political campaign offices, as well as passing of uncomplimentary remarks and uncalled utterances among politicians, which recently witnessed in some states signal potential threat to the smooth conduct of the forthcoming elections in February 2023. Accordingly, world security agencies strategize new measures to counter the rising wave of violence in the polity.
Well, I hope that all of these issues of security and violence will be tamed so that the elections can go peacefully. Well, let's go to Rivers State now, where the APC in that state might be in a bigger trouble, considering the history of the party in the state and in this kind of election. This is because of the judgment of the Federal High Court sitting in Port Harcourt, which nullified the primaries of the All Progressives Congress APC in that state. The court gave the decision in a suit brought before it by some aggrieved members of the party who had, during the primaries of the party, lamented exclusion during the APC primaries. Some members of the party had alleged exclusion and took protests to the state secretariat, in fact, sometimes to the street on the party as activities in Port Harcourt. However, George Olu and 4 others who claim to have purchased nomination forms had approached the court requesting that the primaries of APC in the state be nullified following their alleged exclusion in the process. We understand that the APC in Rivers State at the moment had stopped their campaigns and looking at their options after the judgment of the court. Let's get some reactions and let's listen to the governorship candidate of the APC in Rivers State, Mr. Tony Cole. He joins us live from Port Harcourt in Rivers State. Thank you so much, Mr. Cole, for joining us tonight. This is like thunder striking on the same spot twice. 2019, similar situation happened where your party could not field any candidate. Your party was not even far on the ballot at all in Rivers State, and yet this is happening again. How does this come to you, first and foremost?
Hello, Sean. Thank you for having me today. It's nice to be here. So 3 things you said. The first aspect of it is that this is thunder striking twice. The outcome at the Rivers State level of this case was always going to come out in this way. So it's not something that we were that concerned about. What we have looked at is to make sure that this is about the procedural effects and the law will take its course. So we're going to go to appeal, and in appeal we know that this is going to be turned over. The second thing you talked about was that there was an alleged exclusion. There was no exclusion. The party made very clear pronouncements right at the process, inviting all parties who had bought forms to come to the party secretariat to declare themselves, and these characters that filed this suit refused to show up. They did not come. Thirdly, I heard you say that we have stopped our campaigns in the state. Again, that's not true. We continue with our program. We continue doing exactly what we had set out to do, because we know that this verdict today is going to be turned over, both at the appeal court. We know it's going to go to the Supreme Court, and we trust the judgment of both the appeal court and the Supreme Court to see through the legal quagmire that this case is.
The parts that you said is not true, is not, I mean, those are not my own words. They're the words of Chief Emeka Beke, who said that on Wednesday that the party suspended its campaign that it was fixed for today. So, so if you have not suspended your campaign, have you continued? Did you hold the campaign today?
So the campaign, once the judgment came in, we knew that we had to go and file for the appeal with the appeal court. And as soon as that is done, which we began that process today, the campaign continues. We're not stopping, we're not ceasing, we're going to go all the way to the end, because we know that not only are we going to be on the ballot, we're absolutely certain that we're winning this election. And what we see essentially is something that I describe as a fear factor from the opposition that does not want to have anybody in this election but themselves. They've taken every political party to court, hoping that they'll be able to exclude everyone. It's not going to happen. We are all going to be there.
Ask you this. Procedurally, in law, sometimes stay of appeal, going to an appeal is not the same as stay of execution, because the judgment of court is the judgment of court. You have to get a stay of execution, then go ahead and file an appeal. And we've seen this play out, and this debate have gone on and on. Which one have you done? Have you obtained? You've gotten a stay of execution.
So the stay of execution and the appeal go together. So we get in the stay, we get the appeal, and then we proceed with our campaign. What we are not going to do is stop campaigning totally while we're going through an appeal. We will get a stay of execution, and then we will appeal. But if you go through the judgment here, what the judgment has done is look at the procedural effects of the process that brought the candidates out in the primaries. And that's what we will be challenging when we get to the appeal.
You've blamed the opposition, and I'd like to know which opposition you are talking about now. Is it the opposition in your party, within your party, because your party has largely been divided over the last 5 years or more, and there have been very strong factions within your party, either what you agree to or what you disagree with. But there's been obvious disagreement within your party that has caused you this much. Give us an understanding. When you say that this is coming from the opposition, which opposition? Is it internally or externally?
So there are two oppositions that we're dealing with, and currently both of them are now external. The first one was an internal opposition, which you rightly said caused us a lot of trouble. We spent the last 4 years trying to work out how we can bring peace into the party, because we agreed that a house that is divided cannot stand, and that cost us dearly in 2018. So we spent a lot of time trying to bring that house in order. At the end of the day, George Olu and all the others who had filed this case have all left. Currently, they're all in SDP, so they're now external folks. But based on everything that we have seen, these cases are often sponsored by external parties and not internal parties, and that's the second opposition that we have. These are sponsored cases that are paid for, pushed for, and driven by external forces. But we will get to that.
So now, there are a few issues here, and I'd like us to touch, because there are a number of them, like us to touch them as precisely and as pointedly as possible. Now, first being that with what has happened in your party, there are those who have argued that it was a disaster of a decision or of a move for your party to have allowed a Magnus Abe to leave your party, and he has become a major threat for the chances of your party. What's your view on your brother's, your friend Magnus Abe's defection? Now is the SDP governorship candidate. Do you think that if he had stayed, perhaps would have given your party a boost in the coming election?
No, I think at the end of the day, what we see in Rivers State today with Magnus having left, myself staying in APC, and having other parties that are running in Rivers State is competition. And what democracy is all about, and this is really what we need to address, is that there must be competition so that you can always bring the best out for the people. You see, the campaigns that we're going for right now are issue-based campaigns. Long gone is the time when Nigerians would just go because of the party. Now we're looking at what issues we are bringing onto the table. And that's what makes this a difference. So today, I'm actually pleased that we have strong candidates that are now vying for the office of Rivers State, and we now address the issues for the people of Rivers State. If something is clear, Rivers State has suffered drastically over the last couple of years because we have not dealt with issues, but rather we skirted around the issues and just dealt with strongman politics. Strongman politics is no longer the way forward. Right now, we have to deal with the issues that affect the people. So, had Magnus stayed with us, surely anybody, the more you have together, the better it is. But he had chosen to take a path of his own, and I respect that. Now that he has gone on his own, and we're very, very clear. This has made APC a much stronger party today because we're no longer a divided party in-house. Everyone who was divided in the house has moved out, and that makes us much stronger. And we can now focus on our message, focus on the people, and deliver what they want to hear. That's what makes the difference now.
Let me, and these are some critical issues which I know your very good friend, whom a lot of people have described as your political godfather, that's the former Minister of Transportation, whom some of your friends in the APC, some of them who have now left, had said is the one who had imposed you in the process or in the system in Rivers State. And how your party had allowed your members, a lot of them that have left your party, to the point that, in fact, the spokesperson, former spokesperson of your party is now a commissioner sitting in the cabinet of the PDP-led administration in Rivers State. Now, give us an understanding of the perception out there that the PDP has so much entrenched itself in Rivers State, so much that it will take an extraordinary situation to displace the PDP in the coming election. And in fact, the word out there is that it will take more than APC's, SDP, and other party put together to be able to defeat the PDP. How strong are you on the ground?
Oh, beautiful question, and thank you very much for that question. Three things I will drive at very, very quickly. First, this election that we're coming to, it's a grassroots election, it's a people election, and every vote counts. The one thing that we can be sure about is that at the grassroots of Rivers State, people are fed up with the PDP. They are not as strong in the grassroots as they make out to seem. There has been, and the second thing, there has been a weaponization of poverty, and this is very, very clear. One of the things that we have seen in the last 8 years is that people have become much poorer, much hungrier, and much more desperate than ever before for a change. So we're seeing this on the grassroots, and we're happy about this because it means that we can begin to offer the people a very legitimate hope of a change. And that's where the PDP is. Now, for those who have left APC and have gone, they've gone on two reasons. The first aspect, some of it is economics, some of it is local politics. Some who were unhappy about the fact that they did not emerge as candidates have moved on, and you can understand why. Magnus being a point who has moved on, and that's fine. Another good friend of mine, George, who has moved on. Again, it's understandable. But then you have another aspect of it, which is purely economic. And the one that is economic is the one whereby you offer people money so that they can leave one party to go to another. And that is just buying people. And you have that. Now, with that aspect of politics, what you're looking at here are who believes 100% in the change that we are bringing forward. And this is where APC is much stronger now, because the people who have stayed behind have resisted very lucrative offers from the ruling party, lucrative offers, and they've resisted it because they believe 100% in the change that is coming. They are no longer looking at themselves and saying that what is good for, what can I benefit materially or financially? What they're looking at now is what can we do that will change the landscape for our people as a whole so that we do not have to beg tomorrow. And those are the people that I'm proud to stand by. Those are the people I see in APC today, and I am happy with them.
Now, let's get to one of the points that I raised, which perhaps you did not touch, is the factor of Rotimi Amaechi. For those in your party that have criticized him, they said he's your political godfather. He's imposed you onto the system. And that is one of the reasons why your party is largely divided. How do you react to that?
Okay, so 4 years ago, that was a political statement that was made, and it was used as an excuse to cause the fight that divided us and caused us to be off the ballot. Now, that was 4 years ago. A lot has changed in 4 years. First, people expected that I was going to disappear, I wasn't going to be there anymore, I'm not going to be in politics. But this time around, we had a very competitive process that brought me out. I wasn't going anywhere. I chose to remain. I've chosen to give 20 years of my life to politics. I've chosen to serve the people, and I've chosen to be different. And so what happened this time around was that we competed aggressively for this position. And I came out of it. I came out of it through a very competitive internal process. There's nobody in APC today that will say that I was imposed on them because they know how competitive it was. Now I'm out. I'm out there and I'm running for governor, and APC is rallying around me to bring it forward. To Rotimi Amaechi, he has been very, very quiet. And the reason why is that he has said to us that the last time he was speaking, they said he was imposing. He was speaking, they said that he came forward. He's a very forceful, very, very, very forceful character, and people use that against him. This time around, he has said, take this campaign, run with this campaign, and let the best man come out of the campaign. And we competed internally because he allowed all of us to compete. Dakuku Peter Side competed, Tony Prince Will competed, Dawari George competed, Ujukai competed, myself I competed, Michael West competed. There were at least 15 of us who competed for this position. And I came out, nobody can blame Amaechi for imposing anyone this time around. I came out of this process through a hard-fought competitive arrangement. So we've passed that stage. Right now, we're in another phase of competition. That is with the PDP and SDP.
Let me jump in quickly, and perhaps my question before the last, before we wrap up our conversation with you, and those who have analyzed Rivers politics to say, Amaechi is not going to be on the ballot. Wike is not going to be on the ballot. But invariably, these two political giants in Rivers State will go head-to-head on the ground. They might not be the face in the ballot, but they are their hands on the shoulders of the ticket holders in APC and in the PDP. With what has happened in the last 8 years in Rivers State, how do you hope to be able to displace a Wike and a PDP in Rivers State? What tactics are you employing?
No, very simple. First, you have to connect with the people emotionally, and you have to connect with them where they know that you are for them. So the one thing that I'm clear about, Rivers State is very, very divisive. When you are PDP and you hate absolutely everybody who is not. If you are in APC, you don't want anybody else to be with you. I've chosen, and APC has chosen a very different path. What we are today is that we're a government that represents the people of Rivers State. It doesn't matter whether you are APC, PDP, SDP, we represent you. We will win for you, we will fight for you. And that's one thing that is different. We know that up until now, if you do not belong to a political party, you cannot benefit anything from that state. And this is why we have become such a poor state, very rich in resources, but very poor in human capital development, very poor in welfare, very poor in so many ways. And we need to change this. So what are we dealing with? For me, I'm dealing with connecting with the people emotionally and allowing them to understand that we have brought a change of message to their lives and a change of governance. Impunity is out of the window. Here we are dealing with them, and that's how we're going to defeat the PDP. We will defeat them because the people are going to see something different, not the hardman tactics that we use, not the everybody must be crushed except you stand with us, but one that says that we are for the people and we will work for them. to ensure that they have a government that thinks for them.
Well, we need to wrap up now. Just in 20 seconds, if you may answer this question. If this is not, if you are not able to take it this time around, if you are not able to win, what would you do? Will it be the end of your ambition as being of wanting to become governor in Rivers State?
I have given 20 years of my life to this. I am here. No one is sending me anywhere. We will stand here until we get the kind of government that respects law and order, that respects peace and security, and respects the people to drive development for them, for the people. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Nigerian politics must change for the better. And that's what
if the Court of Appeal judgment does not go in your favor, that means that, again, APC might not be on the ballot. It's a two-way thing. It might go in your favor, it might not go.
Agreed. And like I said, if it does not go in our favor, we go to the Supreme Court. If it doesn't go in our favor in the Supreme Court, we continue to fight. You see, at the end of the day, politics must change in Nigeria. Politics must change for the people and not just for the politicians. We must bring a different kind of politics, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to make sure that for the rest of my life, we fight to see a politics that respects the people, respects their views, respects their votes, and will make the change.
Tonya Cole, governorship candidate of the APC, albeit amidst all of these legal troubles in its party. Thank you so much indeed for talking to us tonight. I appreciate it. Well, you need to come back so that we can talk about your plans. Let's see how your legal battles go, and I hope that you come out victorious. All the best, Tonya. Thank you so much.
I know we will. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We'll take a break, and when we come back, Chief Olisa Metuh, a former spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party, will be joining me on the program. He's left the PDP. Why? We'll find out. And what is the consequence of his dumping of a party that is being part over the last 20 years? Stay with me, everyone. We'll be right back. All right, everyone, let's get to talk about PDP now. The People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar is in Washington, D.C., in the United States. His trip to the capital of the U.S. is part of his campaign itinerary, where he is expected to meet with Nigerians in that country ahead of the 2023 general elections. Atiku arrived in the U.S. alongside the Director General of the PDP presidential campaign and Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal and former Imo State Governor Emeka Ihedioha, among others. Now, as the presidential candidate of the PDP was on his way to the United States, a very strong voice and chieftain of the PDP, Olisa Metuh, a former national publicity secretary of the party, resigned and dumped the party. He explained that he would contribute more to Nigeria's governance by being non-partisan. Tonight, let's speak with Mr. Metuh, who joins us live in our studio here in Abuja. Thank you so much, Chief Olisa Metuh, for joining us today.
Thank you, Shane.
It was surprising for a lot of people to think that you would dump the PDP. Perhaps more surprising that you're doing it now. Again, more troubling from some of your friends in the PDP that you have been giving, saddled with a responsibility which you now dump also alongside your membership card of the PDP. Why?
Well, first, Sheun, I'd like to mention something that is important to me. On Thursday last week, I came back to the country after almost 1 month away. And I called a meeting of a lot of people, my mentees and a lot of other people, to discuss about a young man, Ario Dare Atoyo, who was ill and wanted to discuss how we could help him. We set up a committee, tried to raise funds. We contributed. A lot of young people contributed their hard-earned funds. And we met other people. We arranged an air ambulance, but unfortunately yesterday, I saw him gasping for his life and he died. So I just want to mention
so very sad because
about him.
Ario was few days ago was on this program. You know, he was coughing and I never knew that he was that ill. I employed him to come on the program because he's been speaking about that matter. It's so sad, and we just want to.
One of our brightest, and
absolutely
one of our brightest. He did a lot in terms of deepening democracy. Now, secondly, Sheun, I don't think we're here to talk about the PDP. We're here to talk about what I'm doing right now, the next phase, the next steps.
But we need to talk about why you left the PDP.
Yeah, I'm coming there.
You rose to one of the highest positions in the party. Why did you leave it?
I'm coming there. You know, I believe that the time, right now, it's not about what I want. It's not about what I desire. It's not about ambition. It's not about what I can get. It's about what can I contribute to the nation? What can I bring to the table? And I believe that this country will be better served if I participate in a non-partisan role in bringing up issues that can deepen democracy and help in sustenance of good governance. I believe I have a lot to bring to the table in terms of promoting accountability and transparency, in terms of bringing things that will help with the peace of this country. I happen to have been a spokesperson for a ruling party and a spokesperson for an opposition party at a very critical stage. And I have a lot. And besides, I joined politics for the good of the people. I didn't join politics to get position. I didn't join politics to talk about what I'll get after election or where I'll be. I joined politics to help promote good governance, to help deepen the tenets of the party. And I worked with leaders who were engaged in the ideals of the party then. So I believe that right now I'm more focused in handling things and arranging things that will help deepen. Okay, let me break it down to you. After the loss of the election in 2015, Sheun, there were a lot of things that I participated in, that I was doing. There were a lot of statements, there were a lot of issues that I brought to the front burner. But then it was dismissed by the people that mattered, by the government of the day, as being a partisan position. If I had been non-partisan and I brought up those issues, I think this country would have been better served. This country would have been much better. That's what you're planning to do, right? A lot of the mistakes maybe could have been done. So it's a question of bringing up. What about separation of powers? Where are we in this country when you talk about the executive and the legislature in states? What about issues of the ministers? What about the issues of people who are handling corporations? What about the ordinary man? Okay, what about the corporations, the institutions that we have that are different from government, what they're doing, how they're affecting the consumer rights in this country? So I want to participate as a citizen, all right, as someone who is not partisan.
So the reason
in promoting good governance in this country.
Yeah, the reason why this question is perhaps coming, when we wonder, after your party lost the election in 2015, you began to answer questions to the EFCC as to some of the funds that were put into your hands when you were in office. I mean, you would say that you suffered for your party, and one will wonder that you left all of those suffering, which you up to now, I guess, you're still answering questions. And so you left all of that and you dumped the party. Perhaps there is a reason. Are you going to the Labour Party or to the APC? Or that is all?
Well, Sheun, let me say something straight. First, I was never given any money for the party or for the party promotion or for the campaign. That was mere media trial. That was serious. I mean, by the time the 400 million that we're talking about happened before the campaign, and it had to do with serving national interest. And it happened in the presence of everybody. I mean, the government officials and everybody. That was what participated in it. But that's different from the court. You ask me why? Why now? Why am I doing it now? And I tell you, okay, supposing February next year, PDP wins the election, can I leave? A lot of people who have led into battle, a lot of people who are following me, what will they do? They'll want me to be there to help in making sure that they get positions. If PDP loses the election, can I leave? I can't leave again. I cannot abandon a ship that maybe by then, already down and out. I won't do that to the party. So if I believe that I want to be non-partisan, if I believe truly that I want to play a role, this is the best time.
Don't you think
that time than now.
Don't you think you disappointed some of your friends, like the chairman of your campaign, the director general of the campaign? I mean, one of those who have said you should handle mobilization campaign in your region. Is that not a disappointment? I had a discussion with their leaders, my friends, my associates, and I explained everything to them, and I believe they understand. Truly, anybody
that loved me, anybody that liked me.
So this is not about what is happening in your party?
No, definitely not. No, there is no problem.
So what do you make of what is happening in the PDP? Do you think that the candidate of the PDP is handling the rift between himself and the River State governor? Now we've seen a bigger one coming between himself and the governor of Benue State.
I'll tell you the truth, Shegun. I'm actually more worried about what is happening in terms of issue campaign is being abandoned, and people are talking about individuals, are talking about hurts, insults, and abuses like that. These deepening differences and divisions in the polity. What I would prefer is a situation where the politicians, those politicians that are out there, my appeal to them is that they should focus on issues. My appeal to them is they should talk about things that will broaden and enhance good governance in this country and deepen democracy as well. That's what I want to ask them.
All right, so you don't have a view on what is happening in the PDP?
As a non-partisan person.
Now you are non-partisan.
Completely non-partisan.
So what do you think? How do you think it could be best handled?
About democracy.
No, about what is happening in the PDP. The Atiku, Wike, Autumn factor. Now you have almost 5 governors in the PDP saying they won't join Atiku presidential campaign. Would that be injurious? Would the PDP suffer another loss after 2015 and 2019?
Sheun, Sulere, well.
You spoke in 2 languages.
I think that the leadership of the PDP, being a political party, they should know what to do. I mean,
do they know what to do?
Them. I don't know. I'm not interested.
Do you think things are fair in the party?
I'm not interested in the affairs of any political party. I'm completely non-aligned. When I come here, Sheun, I like to discuss the issue of deepening democracy. Do you think, Sheun, let me ask you, do you think the way democracy is being practiced in Nigeria is the best? Do you think the political actors are doing what is in the best interest of the people? Do you think that people that are in government are doing good governance? Do you think we're promoting transparency,
what do you think
accountability?
Is the
what
problem?
do you think?
What do you think
we're doing?
I
think there should be a reorientation of political activities and political affairs.
Don't you think that is?
I think so. And I will participate. I will offer myself. I will make pronouncements. I will get involved deeply before the election, deeply after the election.
So there is a plan?
In doing things, yes. In promoting good governance in this country.
What are you going into?
Get involved. Sheun, very soon you'll hear. But deeply, I will get involved. Right. I'm not abandoning politics. Yeah. I'm just leaving partisan politics.
The last time I interviewed you, the grades have not been this much. But the grades, so it means something. That the older you become, sometimes you become more circumspect. I guess perhaps one of the reasons why you're taking this position. But let me ask you, the election of 2023 will be very critical.
Yeah.
But what do you see if you look at a crystal ball? How do you think that the Nigerian people will vote this time around?
Sheun, thank you very much. I think that in the history of our country in democracy, besides the issue of when we had the Awolowos and the Nnamdi Azikiwe, never in our history have we had the caliber of the people that we have and the issues that are in the front burner. We have a lot of candidates. About 6 or 7 of them are very good. And this is good for democracy. This is good for the development of the democracy. And if we look at their affairs and what they're preaching and their manifesto and what they're telling that they'll do, any of them that gets elected would believe that if they form a national government, then they will do well for this country. The time for divisions, the time for differences has gone. This is the time to build. This is the time for peace. This is the time for unity. This is the time for good governance. That's what we need to promote.
So, there on that seat, Chief Dele Momodu, who is an active player in the campaign of the PDP, had said, in the history of Nigeria's politics, wherever or whenever two strong southern candidates are on the ballot, there is always a hurt to the region, that the northern candidate always take the day. Do you see this happening?
I didn't watch him, but Dele is Dele, I believe, is a spokesman. He's a director of strategic communication of a political party. So, I mean, that's his own comment.
Do you see the election going into the south? I mean, the presidency going to the south this time around?
I believe that we'll have a peaceful election, and Nigerians should come out and vote for whoever they want. And whoever they want, we should hold that person accountable. We should hold him accountable to promote good governance and at least try to be responsive to the needs of the people. We have great needs. Look at what we're talking about security. Look at what the Americans are talking about today. I mean, we need a government that will work. For instance, definitely we have representative democracy. That's what we're practicing. It's not direct democracy. So let the representatives of the people, both those that are elected and those that are appointed, let them be more responsive to the needs of the people. And that's what I want to get involved with. Not the party that wins, not the person that wins, but the tenets that we're practicing, the principles that we have.
Because one of the issues here, and one thing that I'm also very much concerned about, is the alignment of the political class to the will of the people or to the needs of the average person. Because it does look so much that politicians are so much aloof of what the real needs of the people are. Do you see some kind of challenge on the real political structures, in the traditional political structures in this country ahead of 2023?
Shaun, I think it doesn't have to do with the politicians alone. It has to do with the entire nation. And I say this because there is a need for a reorientation of values, a reorientation of affairs of this country. Do you think in the banking sector, do you think that they're responsive to the needs of us? Do you think that they're affecting us the way they charge us, the way every month, every hour your money goes out? Do you think when you deal with other corporations, do you think the local government, they handle their affairs very well? Do you think that people, the contractors, they actually do the work that they're given? I mean, do you think the civil servants, the public servants...
So it's a breakdown of societal values.
We have to
Do you think that if you have a strong leader, that might change?
That would change, but that would depend as well on the system that we put in place. So when I was in PDP, I remember some of the candidates that will come to my house, and I tell them that my aspiration, my desire was to be the DG of National Orientation Agency. And they all laugh at me because they thought I'll say MPA, NMA, and whatever. But why do I say this? All you need in this world to have joy, like my late father used to say, is Jesus first, others second, yourself last. When you think about God, and then you think about the society, your neighbors, and the common good of the people, secondly, and then you consider yourself last, you have joy. So I think I have joy in my life, and I think I have peace in my life.
Now, so a lot of people, and I also join them in thinking that this 2023 election, more than ever before, interestingly, this is going to be the 7th election cycle since 1999. And 7 means, if you are a man, I'm a Christian, and my faith, there is a tying of the number 7 to, there's an essence of what that number 7 means. And I don't want to go into the theology of 7 right now because that's not the business of today. But the question is that a lot of people believe that this election is going to be crucial to the development and to the future of this nation. What do you think that the young people could do, or what role do you think they can play in this election?
Yeah, I think the first thing they should do is to hold the presidential candidates, let them be responsible. Let them first come up with what they want to do, and they should hold them responsible for their actions and their acts. I do remember that when I was in active politics, when we tried to tell our president when we got into opposition, these are your promises, and this is the ones that you can keep, these are the ones that you can keep. And he said he never made such promises, that his party made the promise, that he didn't make it. I remember then. I was active in politics. So let the political actors, let the presidential candidates themselves come and face the young people. Let them tell them what they want to do. Not their spokesperson, not their representatives, but we want to hear from the political actors so that when they get elected, Nigerians will hold them responsible for those promises that they've made and for the positions they've taken and for the statements they've issued. Let them get more. Let the young people hold them.
If Nigeria gets it wrong this time around, what are your biggest fears?
We won't get it wrong. We have very good candidates. We have very good candidates from the, I can name them. There are about 7 of them that are very good. We have very good candidates. I had a very good discussion with Kwankwanso this afternoon where he was talking about his own ideas. We have very good candidates. Showore is there. We have very good candidates. Please, we won't get it wrong. We have Tinubu, we have Atiku, we have P2B. We have very good candidates.
Chief Olisa Metuh, a former spokesperson of the PDP. Now that you are out of partisan politics, I wish you the very best in your future endeavors. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Well,
Thank you.
Nigeria, you cannot get it wrong. 2023 is very crucial. The only way you cannot get it wrong is to make your vote count. Well, I wish you the very best as we look forward to that election. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'll see you 8 p.m. on Sunday. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.